Happy October 11th, everyone. Welcome to the Midwest Horror Network's October 2020 special, where we discuss all of the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes. I'm Brandon, and with me, as always, are the inventors of the glory hole.
Right,
David's going to give you something for that one. I'm not.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yes, our audience are now dumber for listening to that.
Yeah.
Brandon has no shame.
Alright, so this is Treehouse of Horror 11 from Season 12. Kind of an interesting intro this time. We have the Simpsons as the Munsters.
That's pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. I liked the redesigns of like Homer as the dad, of like Frankenstein's monster dad.
Yeah.
Marge as the vampire wife,
Lily.
Bart as the little werewolf. Lisa was just a regular person holding a book about copyright law.
That's the one part I caught. I'm like, I love that.
And then the townsfolk appear and murder the family, except for Lisa, because she's normal, and she just kind of slinks away. That's it. That's our intro. Quick, little clever. I liked the black and white.
Me too.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. It's because I'm a big fan of the monsters.
I don't like black and white. I only like color.
Shut up, Zach.
That brings us to our first segment, G-Ghost Dad. David.
GhostDad.
Or should I say, David.
GhostDad.
Presented by The Ghost.
Tell us about Ghost
Yeah,
Dad.
Hey,
true.
Ghost, tell us about Ghost.
Homer's eating
Yeah,
breakfast.
Ghost David. Tell us about Ghost Dad.
True. That's a different story I'm not going to get into. Because it'll piss me off. Anyway.
You're right about that.
You go sit in the corner now.
Zachary, go in timeout.
You're in timeout now.
Oh.
Son of a bitch.
I know.
You did a Brandon.
Go ahead and talk about episode.
All right. Homer's reading newspaper and checking out his horoscope. And his horoscope says for that day that he is going to die.
Which is oddly specific for a horoscope.
Yeah, you are going to die today. And also, somebody handsome at work is going to compliment you. And he's trying to figure out who. Says,
He hopes it's Lenny.
Yeah, he hopes it's Lenny.
And then Marge checks her horoscope.
Yeah, Marge just feels very uneasy about Homer's horoscope and checks hers, and her horoscope was your husband's going to die today. So now she's really fucking worried. At this point, terrified, essentially. So he heads off to work, where everything's trying to kill him, essentially. At one point, a pickaxe flies through his windshield and hits him in the head and sticks. And then he ends up showing up at work with a rattlesnake on his arm.
Which Lenny compliments.
He compliments.
He got his compliment.
Yeah, but, it's okay because it'll tire off. Apparently he's nature's quitters.
Yeah.
Snakes. Nature's quitters.
The insult to all snakes.
After that, he heads back home for the night, and he's eating dinner, broccoli and some other shit. So he takes a piece of broccoli, and that's how he dies, essentially. He chokes on...
Death by broccoli.
Yeah, death by broccoli.
It's one of nature's deadliest plants. It tries to warn you with its terrible taste.
Yeah. Rattlesnake doesn't do it, but broccoli.
And everything else doesn't do it.
Yeah, broccoli's gross.
It's one of the few veggies I actually like.
So do I. I like it too.
It's funny. Most people hate it. I love it.
Yeah,
Especially cooked.
If you like eating trees, go ahead.
To each your own, sir. To each your own.
Rabbit food, but okay.
Fuck you, I like my rabbit food.
Yes, you do.
Look, rabbits have good taste, all right? Fuck carrots, but go broccoli.
Anyway, David, what happens next?
He turns into Ghost Dad. He ends up going to heaven, but he meets St. Peter at the gate, and St. Peter realizes that Homer has not done a good deed in his life and is given 24 hours to do a good deed for him to enter into heaven. So, goes back to Earth to fulfill that so he can go to heaven. And he's going around town looking for a good deed to do. He sees.
First, he tries the broccoli again.
Oh yeah. He goes back home and tries the same broccoli he choked on. Goes back to heaven to St. Peter and says, "Yeah, I ate the broccoli again."
You now have 23 hours.
Probably the funniest part of the whole friggin' episode, him eating the damn broccoli again. But anyway, he's looking for a good deed to do. He sees Principal Skinner's mom trying to cross the street, and he thinks it's a good deed to do and help her cross it. When he sees a bunch of Boy Scouts trying to accomplish the same thing, and he rushes and grabs Principal Skinner's mom and lifts her up in the air, and she's flinging, terrified because she doesn't know what the hell is happening. She's just floating,
And everyone
essentially.
can see my bum.
Essentially seeing up her freaking skirt.
Ugh.
Kind of, yeah, definitely the disturbing.
Wiggles
moment.
herself free and falls to her
Yeah,
demise.
death,
Whoops.
which is messed up, but funny. And then he sees Bart being bullied by Nelson and tries to help by spooking Nelson, and Nelson's like, "Who's that?" He's like, "This is, a ghost or whatever," and grabs Homer's ghost and starts giving him a noogie. And he pleads Bart to help him. And then Bart's just like, "No," and then leaves. You realize he has 1 hour left, I think.
Yep, or 1 minute.
1 minute left to do a good deed. And he's by City Hall, sitting on the steps, and there's a carriage, a baby stroller going down, headed towards the street and incoming traffic. And the baby's crying, and Homer gets frustrated with the baby crying and picks the baby up, essentially saving the baby from being hit by a whole bunch of buses and cars.
And the
And that was
carriage
his-
explodes.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Then he-
Watched a lot of random explosions these past few days.
We certainly have.
Yeah.
Torg would be proud.
He did his good deed. He goes to heaven. St. Peter wasn't watching because he was busy reading the newspaper.
Whoops.
Sends him straight to hell, where his torture is getting a noogie from Satan. Then Homer's too loud and wakes up John Wayne.
For some reason.
I thought that was the
Yeah, that was-
laziest fucking ending
That was
ever.
really random.
That was so stupid.
Yeah.
that was pretty stupid.
Like,
Yeah.
you had a decent, hell thing with the donuts and shit like that in that one episode.
Yeah.
But you get really just pathetically lazy with this. Nothing landed. Nothing was funny. And even Satan just looked basic.
True.
Yeah, a little bit.
I miss Ned Flanders Satan.
That would have been hilarious.
Oh, yeah,
that would have
that
made
would.
sense. It's like, oh, fuck, I gotta spend the rest of eternity with Flanders.
Would have been a
It
good
would have made
callback,
sense.
too.
Exactly.
Great callback. Great callback.
Like a huge missed opportunity. What the fuck? James Hell Brooks or whatever the fuck his name is. What were you doing?
Yeah, that was pretty lazy. It was an okay episode.
Yeah, it was decent.
It
Not
was-
the best, not the worst.
I
I
think.
noticed these last 3 episodes, the first segments have been just simple and quick,
Yeah, if anything.
and the
fair.
third episodes have been fun and longer.
I'll
And
agree.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. And at least if they're going to be bad, they're fast.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
get through
that
them
is true.
fast. So they're like, oh, okay, well then that's done. I think this is one of those I'm going to add into the pile of I'm not going to remember when this is all over.
yeah.
I might
agree.
remember it because of the title, because it's a cool title, but
I think that's a weird title.
it is a weird title, but I think
It doesn't seem fitting. That's another problem I'm noticing with a lot of these episodes. The titles don't fit the fucking stories.
yeah, there's a little bit of that going on. There is certainly a little bit of that going on, especially with I know with some of them being titles and some of them being title designs, which can be a little misleading.
I'll agree with that as well.
I know that you were like fly versus fly.
Yeah, it's you don't do that and not expect me to think spy versus spy, especially for the era you're doing it in. Are you kidding me?
I don't have any issue. The only one was the Starship Poopers.
That
Yeah,
one just
one.
pissed me off.
Yeah, that made zero sense
Yeah, 'cause
whatsoever.
I was expecting
Yeah.
Starship
parody.
Starship
Yeah.
Troopers, yeah, which would have been made sense. I think I probably
I would have loved that.
I would have loved it
I
if
don't
they
know
would
if
have
I
done
would have
right.
loved the
Yeah.
Simpsons Starship Troopers, but still, I love Starship Troopers.
Dude, and what we got
good
was
movie.
great. It was
Like-
just a shitty title.
You didn't even get they didn't even do anything with the propaganda. Do you want to know more?
Yeah,
come on.
They could have done at least one joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely at least one joke with that. But, what are you going to do? Again, Brandon said this at the beginning. I agree with him, which was some of them are going to be really good, and some of them are just going to be really forgettable.
They all can't be winners.
It's 30.
Yeah.
It's 30.
We all can't be as bad as the Raven.
Again, though, it's 30. It's 31 episodes, or about to be 31 episodes. 30 as it stands right now.
Yep.
Not all of them are going to be good.
Yeah, that's 31 episodes, 3 stories per episode. We're looking at 93 stories total.
Exactly.
Plus a couple, plus intros, plus a couple wraparounds.
Exactly. So not all of them are going to be winners, and unfortunately, this is one of those that's not really a winner.
It's not really a loser either.
No, not necessarily. It's just like kind of a.
It's kind of there.
But what the funny thing is, I'm gonna remember the losers and winners more than I'm gonna remember the ones that were. Zach's gonna remember the Raven forever. He's gonna remember how much he hated it, but he's gonna remember it. So that and again, there's a bunch of them that we've already passed that there's some of them I can't even remember.
Yeah, some of them I can't.
I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, this is one of them. Definitely one of them. Yeah, episode 2 was pretty cool though.
I forgot what was episode 2.
That was the one with the fairy tales.
Yeah, the Grim Fairy Tale.
Yes. Next up, we have Scary Tales Can Come True, and I had to look up online what this one was called because that title's on screen for like 2 frames.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
They have an issue. Again, I think this goes back to they have an issue with titles.
They really
segments. Like if it's not one thing, it's the other thing. Like if it's not that the title doesn't make sense or doesn't fit, it's like it's done in 2 seconds.
Yeah, like it was on the title of a book that opens up, and it's silly, just like the book fades up on screen and opens right away.
So
yeah, but yeah, go on.
So this is obviously a take on the Grimm Brothers
Brothers Grimm.
Brothers Grimm stories. In this case, it would be Hansel and Gretel being
Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel being played by Bart and Lisa. They start to venture out into the forest and run into a couple different magical creatures.
They don't really venture out. It's more like Homer gets fired from his job as an oaf.
Oh yeah.
And because they're worried about
No, he got fired from his job as an elf because he's an elf.
No,
Yeah.
oaf.
No, he was fired because he was an elf. But he was fired from being an elf.
He wanted to.
No, he was fired from
Yeah.
his job of being an oaf.
I'm pretty sure it was an elf.
David,
It makes no sense.
I don't know, man.
He said elf at some point, but I think he wanted an
Because
occupation
Bart
as an
suggested
elf.
that he be a dunce for his job.
So Homer got fired from his job and basically was neglectful of his children, and even Lisa made a joke about that. Like, well, they're not really good parents.
Yeah,
The,
they found their old brother and sister skeletons.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Dead.
basically, wait, why am I recapping? You're the one that needs to be recapping.
Exactly. Who's driving here, buddy?
Clearly not you.
I thought you were, and then apparently I took the wheel from you, and
now I want it back. So they get basically abandoned by Homer, and then end up wandering throughout the forest. They run into a few different magical creatures, but Lisa just so happens to have the actual book of fairy tales, so she can actually use it as reference, which is kind of nice. They come up to a bridge, and she says, "Don't go on the bridge. There's an ogre under there." Troll. Sorry.
How do you get that one messed up? That's like the most basic.
Yeah.
He's got you there.
That's true. So Troll, which is played by Mo, and he comes out and tries to scare them, and he's like, "Oh, I always come on too strong. That's why I'm alone.
Desperately lonely."
It's pretty much the entire story of Mo.
Yeah, poor Mo.
Poor Mo. Anyway, so they end up venturing into another house that they discover is actually the 3 bears, and Bart probably does the smartest thing I've ever seen in a Simpsons episode. He goes to the different forages, and there's literally one that's too hot, one that's too cold. He's like, doesn't take a genius to figure this out. He literally takes the cold one and pours it into the warm one. I'm like, I think that's the smartest thing I've ever seen, maybe even in a cartoon ever. And I'm like, this is great. So, and by the way, the funny thing is that when the bears came in, they had the same design as the children's book, The Bears, which is about a family of bears. It's literally the same design from those children's books. You guys may not remember those, but they were actually like there's part of the same collection as like Franklin the Turtle, like the same company that did those books did like fairy tale oriented books, and they literally had ones that were three bears. And they had the same hats and same outfits that they walked in with, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, that's crazy. But they end up Lisa ends up figuring out that they're in the three bears house, and they go, oh shit, and then they run out of the house. And I think Bart or Lisa puts a chair up to the door so the bears can't get him. I'm like, what would happen to Goldilocks? Then she gets up and then gets confronted by the bears and fucking eaten. She can't escape because there's a door. Which, by the way, in this particular episode, like I'll say this, like there's a lot more violent things that go on than I've seen in other episodes, which is kind of nice. Like especially this one, like there was a lot more violence in this one, especially in the next segment and this segment. There's a lot more gore-oriented things or violence-oriented things. I mean, obviously not to our standards, because we have very high standards for that. However, it is a lot more violent than other episodes that I have seen in the past. So Bart and Lisa end up, continuing their journey, and they stumble upon the witch from their story, who has a candy cane house, and Bart's like, I'm gonna go in. Like, because I'm going to follow my gut. Yeah, that stands to reason. And they walk in. They end up getting chained up. Bart's the one that's eating all the cake and candy and getting fattened up. And he's literally basting himself. And Lisa's like, can you at least not do that? So they both end up, insulting her, saying, you're so lonely out here. I bet you don't even have a boyfriend. She's like, I do. It's, what was the guy's first name?
George
Cauldron. I remember the last name, but
Lisa's just like, can you hook me up with Eddie Ladle?
Which is great. And then they get in a little bit of a struggle. She attempts to throw Lisa into the oven, but then all of a sudden the wall gets eaten by Homer. Homer's here to save the day. The witch casts a few spells at him, which change his certain body parts into different animals. A fish head, broom hands, chicken legs,
rabbit ears.
That too. Quite a few things. And then they get into a struggle, and they finally throw the witch into the whole huge fire. And then, wouldn't you know, George Cauldron shows up for their date at 8 o'clock.
Is Suzanne ready? She will be in about 20 minutes.
As he turns the setting to high. And then the segment, ends with saying, "Hey, we might be poor, but at least we have a never-ending source of food." And then Homer proceeds to lay, but in this case, it appears that he's shitting out an egg.
He looked like he was in pain.
A lot of pain. And that's how they get all their food.
Dude, it looked like he was essentially experiencing childbirth, which technically
is correct.
Yeah.
So that being said, thus concludes the end of this particular segment. And I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Yeah. There's some fun things going on, and the animation was pretty good in this one. And like I said, it was especially in the Goldilocks section. It was a lot more willing to be violent.
Yeah, I liked the Three Bears. I liked the Rapunzel bit.
Oh my god!
Ooh, that was painful.
Completely forgot about
when Homer was climbing up her hair and her head just slams against the windowsill.
And by the way, I don't know if you caught it. Like, not only did all of her hair come out, her scalp came out.
You could see the red drop.
And he's like, I'm gonna push this into the bushes.
And then because I'm a sadistic freak, when they threw the witch into the oven and she was just screaming in pain, I thought that was hilarious.
Of course.
Yeah, that was pretty great. You were not the only one that laughed. Everyone did.
No, it was kind of basic.
But yeah, it was a good episode. It was a lot of fun. I
had fun with it.
It was dark.
Did you though?
Like the Grimm, like the Brothers Grimm. And that was exactly what it was supposed to be.
Wasn't that a movie at some point, The Brothers Grimm?
The Brothers Grimm, yeah,
Matt
it was.
Damon and Heath Ledger, directed by Terry Gilliam.
Was that Heath Ledger's last?
No, that was the Doctor...
Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Yeah. Another Terry Gilliam movie. It was actually pretty good.
Okay. check that out.
Rest in peace.
Indeed. So David, any thoughts on the Brothers Grimm?
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed this one a lot, especially that Rapunzel bit that seemed kind of freaking painful. And then like no remorse, just like, I'm gonna kick this over here.
Just kick it in the bush, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Fun.
It's just a little red. It's still good. It's still good.
Did you just make another Simpsons reference there?
That's the only reference I remember from my childhood. I don't remember what happened.
Converting.
It was.
All I remember is they were at Homer's work. They launch a fucking turkey or a pig.
It was a
or
pig.
A pig.
It was Lisa ruined Homer's barbecue by disposing of his pig, and it had ended up in the lake, and it was going, and he was like, "It's just a little dirty. It's still good. It's still good." And then it ends up in the river.
Chasing this fucking thing.
Ends up in the river. It's just a little slimy. It's still good. It's still good. And then it gets wedged in this crack in the bridge, and the water pressure builds up and just launches into the air. And Homer's like, "It's just a little airborne. It's still good. It's still good." Bart says, "It's gone. I know." And then you have Mr. Burns talking to Smithers, and they're just looking out the window, and Mr. Burns is off, and he's like, "You know, Smithers, I feel like donating $1 million to the local orphanage." When pigs fly, and then they just start laughing, and then they see the pig just fly. Would you be donating that $1 million now? I'd rather not. Any last thoughts on segment 2 before we move on to our last one?
The certainly the most interesting one. Zach,
tell us about Night of the Dolphin.
Oh boy. So yeah, once again Lisa causes the end of the world by releasing a dolphin from SeaWorld, and it ends up starting the Dolphin Revolution.
she's literally the quintessential no good deed goes unpunished example.
Yeah.
I don't remember I always remember Lisa being like the smart ass of the show, but I never remember her unintentionally causing so much bullshit in the world as well.
Oh,
but
so
it's like
much.
it makes so much sense the more I go back and think. It's like, wow, she really fucked up. But yeah, so they're at SeaWorld, they're watching a dolphin show. The announcer's just like, go and pet the dolphin, and everybody just swarms into the freaking pool and starts abusing the dolphin, just like pulling on it, petting it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what?
Your average experience at SeaWorld.
No! They wouldn't allow me to get in the Shark Tank. How come they can get in the Dolphin
Springfield
Tank?
is a town that riots on a regular basis.
I guess so. This is very true. But yeah, so Lisa releases it back into the wild, and apparently this dolphin is like king of the dolphins or some shit like that. So yeah, he's just like, no, fuck this. They made me do tricks. Let's go fucking start a revolution. A crab hears this, eyes open wide, and just runs. He's like, no, I ain't being a part of this shit. So yeah. The Dolphin Revolution starts. Apparently, dolphins can walk on land.
Yep.
Yeah, like they're marching in formation. You got the classic, just like hut 2, 3, 4, hut 2 in dolphin language. One gets caught in a net. It's like, oh my god, the nets, the nets! The king dolphin grabs the net and then slaps the dolphin and calls him a dumbass. It's like, are you fucking serious? Come on. And
You
then
laughed.
It's just like, yeah, they start, killing humans, taking over. They go into like town square or town hall or whatever, figuring out what to do. The dolphins come, invade. And the king dolphin can talk. Apparently thousands of years ago, the dolphins once ruled the land and walked amongst the humans till the humans said, fuck you, you get into that water and you live there, you little porpoise bastards.
To be fair, I can see our species pulling something like that.
I'm not going to disagree, but still. Why did you wait this long? We love dolphins. We could coexist. I mean, they're trying to rape people these days, but still, that's besides
There's a
the
King
point.
of the Hill episode about that.
Why does that not surprise me?
Yeah, there's always a King of the Hill episode about that.
Did it involve propane?
And
It's King of the Hill.
it
yes.
always involves propane
So yeah,
and propane accessories.
Homer's just like,
As Hank would say, everything is about propane.
All
Fair
of
enough.
life's lessons.
So yeah, Homer's just like, fuck these porpoise bastards. We've ruled this earth for thousands of years. We're not going to let them take it. So fuck these salmon-loving bastards. Let's go kick their ass. They open the door, and it's essentially the scene from The Birds. Just
Really
dolphins.
well done, by the way.
Literally just dolphins everywhere, just giving them the death stare. They start walking. Homer turns around. No, we're not going to fucking take this. And then they all start beating the shit out of the dolphins, and it's just a good, 3-minute war. Bart shoots a cork into one of their blowholes and essentially suffocates them. And then they get this one charging clash scene, and then, all the humans are just stuck in the ocean now because the dolphins somehow won.
I fucking love Homer's line. He's like, well, I guess the dolphins wanted it a little bit more than we did.
Yeah.
What I don't get is, we beat them thousands of years ago. We have so much advanced technology. Now we can't?
Hey, Zach, don't try to logic this one, buddy.
Well, I mean, the war started in Springfield, and the intelligence of the average Springfielder is
Homer.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Dude, you know something funny? This actually one kind of got quite a bit violent.
Yeah.
Like those dolphins were ripping through, especially with
they tore people in half.
Yeah, it was no fucking around.
They killed Kent Brockman with a beach ball.
Sea captain, they tore him in half.
And then also too, Willie. They literally went through the window and threw him.
Yeah.
I'm
They
like,
decapitated the squeaky voiced teen in the drive-thru.
Oh yeah, that's right. Any way to get out of work.
Yeah. And then we ended with Kane and Kodos getting shoehorned.
Oh yeah.
Like, I can't believe they didn't allow us in the episode. Hang up the phone, they might be calling now.
Phone rings. Uh-huh. 1 second. Do we want to do a commercial for something called Old Navy? Work is work. Which is how I'm kind of feeling right now.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
Yep.
I forgot, was it Sears or Old Navy that
Old
completely
Navy.
shut down? Okay.
Oh, wait. That shut down?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
It was Sears, man.
Oh, Sears. Yeah.
Sears is long gone.
Rest in peace.
And then there was one joke in this episode where we just had to look at Mark.
Oh, that's right, the news broadcast. Okay, so yeah, the news is being broadcast. The news guy, or whatever the hell his name is, he's starting to say, he gets ready to start telling everybody about the dolphin invasion. But I guess 2 dolphins infiltrated the news station and are holding his camera guy hostage. And the dude just holds up a sign, "Save me!" And the news guy just stops what he's saying. He's just like, "We're being invaded by the Italians." Those dirty, rotten
intelligent Italians.
Those goddamn Sicilians are taking over. Like, what the? And then everyone in the room just slowly turned their head and looked at Mark, and he's just like, fuck me.
Fuck all of you. And then Homer was like, intelligent Italians. That doesn't sound right. And I'm like, you do not have a leg to stand on, Homer. Fuck off. It's fucking great.
Oh, I love it when Italian jokes pop up.
Darn good.
Doesn't matter what the Italian joke is, as long as Mark's in the room, it's hilarious.
Oh,
Perfect.
it was actually a really good episode. I highly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That is one
I liked it too.
That is one I will remember. And I actually remember it because it was funny and it was creative, and also
And it had some suspense to it too.
It had some suspense to it too, and it was actually violent. Like there was actually some horror to it, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is actually really good." So it was a very well crafted segment.
Yeah, I enjoyed that segment.
Dude, again, I'm gonna go back to my original theory that I think that the third one has probably a higher count of the best segments. If we go back and and tally all of the all the ones,
Which is
that we
funny
watched.
because it started out as the first one usually being the best.
Yeah. And then now the first one's kind of like just like as quick as we can get it done.
I think another funny moment for that dolphin segment was the baby dolphin being trapped.
Oh yeah.
Oh, by the soda can holders or the
Yeah.
plastic, yeah. And then
bites
Lisa.
Lisa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lisa frees the thing's mouth, and then as soon as she does that, of course, it bites her in the arm.
It's like, you
It was
son of a
It was
bitch.
at that moment where I thought like Lisa was just gonna punch the dolphin.
Oh,
Like,
she was
at
ready.
that moment. She was ready.
She was definitely ready.
You're about to see Lisa get a violent side. It's like, holy shit! Yes.
All right. So, funniest moment of the episode.
Mine is Homer eating the broccoli again.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
I think mine would probably be when the crab overheard the dolphin's plan and he just looks at the camera and he's like, fuck this, I'm out.
I'm out, yo.
Nah, my
He's
second.
got that casual look on his face. He's just like,
I'm gonna have to go with a tie between George Cauldron showing up at the end, and then also the Italian joke because it was pretty fucking funny.
that would be second place for me because
They-
Italian jokes are
Yeah.
just great.
It was a good fucking joke. I can't lie.
My
Can't
second place is the dolphin getting trapped in the net, and then the leader just slapping him in the face. That's my second.
Pulled a General Patton there.
Yeah.
My funniest moment is between the witch screaming in pain in the oven.
You're such a sadistic bastard.
It really cracked me up. I don't know what that says about me.
A lot.
Such
Or,
a basic way to kill somebody.
Or the Rapunzel bit,
Yeah, that's pretty
Howie.
funny.
which I don't know what that says about me. That my two funniest moments of this episode are people just screaming in pain.
I don't know. I just think you like to pull women's hair.
Moving on.
Let's move on.
Scariest, creepiest, or grossest moment.
What just happened about 3 seconds ago?
Discovering Brandon likes to pull women's
Yeah.
hair.
For me, it's the fairy tale bears. Three
Yeah,
bears.
the Goldilocks getting taken out,
Yeah.
man. That was actually pretty scary.
Yeah,
like,
because
oh,
they turn
shit.
into these like jolly bears until these vicious killers.
And she can't get out. I was like, oh shit, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It was good suspense. And then also to the dolphin thing when they were walking out. I was like, this is actually pretty suspenseful.
Yeah.
That's my pick. It was really good use of silence, and it was a very unusual moment in a Treehouse of Horror episode. But the sound design really made that scene.
Yeah, for sure.
Eh.
No scary moment for you, sir. No suspenseful.
Nothing gross.
Eh.
Fine.
Fine.
All right. Least favorite segment. First one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the first one. Yeah, that was
Unfortunately, that's the odd
First one
man.
again?
Ghost Dad.
Ghost Dad.
Oh, yeah.
Ghosted.
Yeah, I think we're all unanimous on the worst one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to what I said at the beginning of this podcast. It's gonna be really forgettable.
Yeah. Favorite segment.
Dolphins?
Third
Yeah.
one. For
I'm
me.
gonna go with the third one.
Yeah.
I really dug the second one, but like the third one just seemed to have it had everything in it. It was suspenseful. It was it had a little bit of gore. It had some laughs. It had some tension. It had everything that it needed to have.
It's really close between 2 and 3 for me, but for the same reasons that you just listed, I'm going with 3.
Rock and roll,
Yeah.
Zach.
3.
Nice, we're
Yep.
unanimous.
So we are unanimous
Indeed.
on both the worst and the best of the episode.
Nice.
We got one.
So yeah, that was Simpsons Treehouse of Horror 11.
Yeah.
It was an unusual trio of stories this time.
I think it was a very forgettable first one and two good ones. That would be my assessment of it.
And I didn't really care for the Kane and Kodos bit.
Yeah, it was lazy.
Yeah, that one felt very lazy.
Most of the Kane and Kodos bits do feel just like they're thrown in there. Like, they don't feel...
It's almost like a contractual obligation.
It really does feel like
Like
that.
whenever they work them in, I mean, so far, whenever they've been worked into an actual story,
Oh, they're
it's
great.
worked.
Yeah, they're great. When they actually fit in them, like the last one with the Jerry Springer knockoff, like that was good.
They could have had their moment though. The Old Navy bit wasn't funny.
Or it's like if they're in, or if they're just in there quickly as like a little cameo, but just like a cutaway during the story, they're a little amusing. But that one was just, it literally just felt like they wrote the episode, realized they weren't in there, and then wrote that.
Yeah. It was the quintessential shoehorn.
Yeah. So, Simpsons Treehouse of Horror 11, decent trio of stories, unusual, but worth watching, I think.
Yeah.
So that's it for today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and follow us at Midwest Horror Network on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and
Slasher. And of course, please press that little bell so you can get notified every time we have a new episode of one of our many programs, which include Living Nightmares, which is our narrative show where we go ahead and show real life experiences that have happened to people that are very horrifying. And of course, check out our awesome show, The Screaming Room, where we go ahead and watch, react, and discuss to some lesser known horror movies. And of course, check out Zachamus Decimus Meridius' awesome show, Let's Play a Game, where Zach plays some awesome horror video games and reacts to them. Thank you very much. Tell your aunts, brothers, sisters, uncles, best friends all about our show. We appreciate you listening, and we will talk with you on the next episode of Treehouse of Horror.
Happy October 11th.